Hey, everybody, we are live for Friday Focus with me, Laura Berman Fortgang. Thank you so much for being here. We are here every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And what can I tell you? Today's topic is whether you're having an identity crisis or not. Hello, Susanna. I work with people in career transition, helping them figure out what they want to do with their lives. And, sometimes there's two ways that our identity comes into this. Okay. One is that we see ourselves as one thing. So it's really hard to imagine anything else that we would do. Like you see yourself as an executive, so you wouldn't consider something that wasn't an executive role, or you think you're like just a mom, so therefore you couldn't do anything else. So that's one way that identity affects career transition. And I've talked about that in other Friday Focuses, so go look for that. But today's version of Are You Having an Identity Crisis is that, once again, ripped from the headlines, ripped from my client files, ripped from the people that I speak to all the time. Hi, everybody, by the way, buenos dias. And on Facebook, you can comment, and I will see it in my StreamYard. That's why you have to give StreamYard permission so I can see what you're asking me or commenting. And please weigh in at any time. I see it, I'll answer it. All right, so this second way that identity comes into screwing up with your trying to figure out what to do with your life is that you might feel rudderless. Like people come to me to figure out what they want to do. Yes, they need some help with that. And then sometimes we're a few sessions in and they're like, well, now I feel worse than I was when we started. And that's a good thing. Like I congratulate them for that, because what's happening is that your decision-making criteria is changing, right? So previously, before doing the work of now, you're going to be saying, well, my resume, I don't have any experience. I need to make this amount of money. So your criteria is like your logic. Last week, we talked about logic. Look up last week's Friday Focus. Now, I'm a Mac user for many years, and so I'm a snob, okay? So I see when we're using only our logic and what the world tells us as being a PC, and when you're having that rudderless feeling, you're actually changing your entire operating system. Like you are changing your internal drive, your operating system, and you're turning into a Mac, okay? Like, sorry, but I'm a snob, I told you that. So when you're switching from a PC to a Mac, your operating system is changing. You feel rudderless because you're changing your criteria for what's going to make you happy. Now, if you're not your resume, who are you? What do you want? So let me give you some analogies. It's like it's as if you were an Olympic swimmer and you finally got to the Olympics and they put you in the 26-mile marathon and you're like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. Like I used to have an actor's nightmare. For those of you that don't know, I was an actor first for many years. And I used to have this nightmare many times over of like, I rehearsed a play and it was in English. And then on opening night, the play was in French. So you're like, how do I do French? I'm in another world, right? You're in another movie. You're in another play. And that's what it can feel like when you are really trying to work on a reinvention in your life. Is like you get to a point where it's like you knew you didn't know what you wanted at first and you're trying to figure it out. And then you get to this place where you almost have no idea whatsoever. It's because you're shifting the operating system. I also compared to like if you had a deck of cards and it splayed out all over the floor, and now you get to choose your cards. You get to choose which cards to put back in your hand. And that is the beauty of the pandemic, by the way, which I haven't mentioned yet today. But the beauty of this pandemic, and many of us around the world hopefully getting vaccinated and being able to start moving again, is we get to pick which pieces we want to keep, right? So we've had this year of, for some it's been isolation, for some it's been seeing their jobs disappear or having to reinvent their jobs. I know I pivoted in my work, and we've had this time to reflect. So the same as when you're going through this rudderless period where you get to take the cards and choose which ones you want to put back. So if the only thing you're considering is like how much money you're going to make and if you can, keep the same level of salary, if you weren't happy before, you're probably not going to be happy moving forward, right? So your whole criteria has to change. So for example, if you're going to be an empty nester and your identity has been around like, well, I have these kids, I have to take care of these kids, I do these things with my kids, and now they're not there. What pieces of your life do you keep, and which pieces are you going to switch out? I've worked with a lot of people in their late 20s moving into their 30s, and what got you those few first promotions is not going to get you where you want to go. Like, your first criteria was be indispensable, prove how amazing you are, and yes, and that gets you rewarded. And then it gets to a point where it actually starts working against you and you're not seen as leadership, right? So that's changing out the cards. I'm working with someone who's thinking of changing industries, is pretty sure that they want to change industries. And they're like, who am I if I'm not in this industry? Right? So this does not have to be hard. It sounds like a really big, hard problem, but this is what you do. It's Friday. You could take the weekend with a pad. Yes, good old fashioned writing, because there's something that happens when you put pen to paper. Your brain puts it out there. Your brain reads it back. And put pen to paper. What do I want to keep? All right, I'm in transition. I don't know what I want, but what are the pieces of my life or my work or my identity that I want to keep? And what are the pieces you're willing to let go of? So I'm going to put this into a story for you so you understand what I'm saying today. That yes, you may be feeling like you're having an identity crisis, but it really is a good thing. And you're going to come out on the other side better. So there's someone ripped from the headlines that I'm working with who's in a really cool industry, right? So they're in the music industry, and they needed some nice degrees to get to this level of work in terms of what side of the music industry they're on. So their family admires them and their friends admires them, and they're, quite proud but unhappy. So going into this, good Lord, hope you're going to help me. Then we get to the rudderless place. Like, I feel worse than I did when we started. What happened? So we were shifting the criteria, right? So the coolness factor maybe wasn't as important. What the family thought of him maybe wasn't as important. And we discovered some things about him through our life story process, where he really saw that he loved mentoring. He loved being an influence on other people. And that some of these things that he wants to do are changing how he sees his current identity. Well, what if I wasn't in the music business anymore? What if I, switched entirely? What would that mean? Who am I? Would I be happier with myself? Now, I can't reveal more because I keep confidentiality, but the last time we spoke had this big aha of how everything he's done to this point and all the things he wants to put in this new hand and this new deck of cards can lead to something quite amazing. And it actually stays within his industry, but completely different. So sorry if I'm being a little vague, but when you put those pieces back and you choose and you stop worrying about what everyone else thinks and that PC kind of status, and you're going to become a Mac, you're going to be a little cooler. You're going to be a little truer to yourself, a little more highly intuitive. You are going to discover who? You. So the identity crisis is over. So that is our Friday focus for today. I'm here every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern on Instagram, on our Facebook group, which is the Now What Career Clarity and Direction community. So if you want to join us, and LinkedIn, we replay there for you. And we're on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Laura Berman Forking. Now, those of you on the other mediums, stay tuned, IG. You can see running across the screen, and IG in my bio, in the link, our next Career Clarity Reboot Week, absolutely free. 7 days of amazing content is coming up the week of May 17th. So if you want to join that, absolutely free, and get all this good stuff, you want to go to that link, IG in the bio, everywhere else running across the bottom of the screen. I would love to see you there. So I'm happy it's Friday. Hope you're going to have a good one. It is Mother's Day weekend. These things are going to be up for a while. So it's May 2021, everybody. And it's Mother's Day weekend, and my entire family is vaccinated, and we're going out. Yes, we're going out. So I wish you all the best. Stay well, stay healthy, and see you next time on Friday Focus. Thank you, everybody. Bye. Bye, my friends.